Hello world and welcome to this video. In this video I'm going to be talking about the easiest way to become a software engineer without a degree in 2020. So TLDR, so you don't have to watch the whole thing if you don't want. Basically you got to go through web development. You got to learn some basic skills, get an entry-level job, make some cool stuff, learn as much as possible, and work your way up the ladder. So let's get right into it. The first step, you got to learn HTML, CSS, and maybe a little bit of JavaScript. That's just kind of the entry level stuff you need to know. None of this stuff is really taught that much in college anyways. This is all stuff that's very easily accessible online through books, tutorials, Udemy, YouTube, some of my tutorials even. Mine are, I don't think I have any actual basic HTML or CSS stuff. I actually learned from this book. This book right here, back in the day, JavaScript and jQuery. jQuery is probably not so relevant anymore, but it's definitely still used quite a lot. So learn basic HTML, CSS, maybe a little JavaScript. Just got to know how it works fundamentally. You don't really need to know how to do complex things, although it would help. So once you kind of have a good handle on those things, you can start to apply to some basic entry-level positions. And I don't mean internships. Internships are typically held for college kids who are in their junior or senior year and want to intern. We're not talking about that. We want entry-level roles such as tech support or customer service at a tech company. It has to be doing something in tech, otherwise it's kind of a waste of your time. So once obviously it's probably going to take a few different applications, a few different interviews. You got to get good at interviews. It's part of the process. It's part of the game. Tech interviews is like a whole nother level of interviews. You have to learn how to whiteboard, how to explain yourself very well. So that's definitely a huge soft skill that it would help to learn. But I don't think when you're first starting out, it's not the most important thing to learn. The most important thing to learn is how to be moldable, how to learn quickly, and how to adapt. So once you get an entry-level job, even if you're not doing much coding, you want to be surrounded by the environment. And when you're in that environment, you want to absorb and learn as much as you can about that company, whether it's their tech stack or how they operate. There's a lot of small things that go on in a tech company that will help you go through the ranks and become a software engineer. So learn as much as you can where you're at. Provide as much value as you can for the team. So make internal tools that help you out, that help your teammates out. Try to find areas that you think need improvement and think about how you could use tech to improve that. I know personally this is kind of how I got into the industry. I started as a tech support and I built tools. And I built tools for my team to use. I built a Scrum board web app that allowed the team to track issues everywhere. I built websites that showed analytics of some other data the business was consuming. So really, it doesn't really matter what it is. Just try to find some use in the tech that you can make that is useful for your company. Obviously, this should help tell your manager and your team that you are interested in this. This is not getting into the tech industry. Unfortunately, is not just work 40 hours a week and you're in it. You're going to learn. You'll get there eventually, but honestly, the quickest way, you have to be learning even when you're not working. You have to enjoy it. Once you really get into it, it does start to become enjoyable. When you start to figure things out, problem solving is kind of an enjoyable skill to have. But once people realize in your team and your manager that you are interested in this and that you're wanting to help, hopefully it will kind of send you up the ladder, look for different promotions where they're looking for, maybe a team web developer or a junior web developer or even like a database administrator. Anything that can get you more involved in coding is always a step up. So look for those opportunities. And when you have your reviews with your manager, always make sure to mention that you're always learning, you're always working on things, you're trying to learn how the tech at this company works, because that will get you a long way. And once you get into those positions, you do the same thing. You learn everything you can, you seek to learn more, and hopefully people will kind of give you the opportunity. If you notice there are no opportunities, that will be, give a company at least a year. chance to kind of see that you want to move up. If there's no really room for moving up, then it's time to switch companies. And whenever you do switch companies, always go higher. Never get a job that you're at the same level or lower. You always want to be at least at a higher pay level for one, and two, try to get a higher position, or at least a position where you're doing more coding, or maybe in your interview you try to find out if there's coding or room for growth in the company when you're actually interviewing for that job. So that's the basic pattern: is learn, try to get as far as you can. When you can't get any further in that company, then it's time to move companies into a higher position. Learn, get as much as you can, go up, and keep moving up. And then eventually you will get into a bigger company. But I think it's important that when you're first starting is to look for startups and smaller size company. They're a lot easier to get into because they're not going to have as many applicants as some of these big tech companies are. Once you have a few years of experience under your belt, then you can start to go and interview and put your resume at some of the bigger companies in the Bay, or actually anywhere. But you do need a few years of experience and some kind of developer, software engineer, some kind of that kind of job title on your resume for at least a year before you actually move into a big tech company with those skills. So some tips along the way is try to find mentors, people who can help you, who can help not only just learn the code, but how to actually learn all the soft skills that are involved. There's a lot, and there's project management, there's processing engineering, there's really a million different things other than coding that you have to do. But finding a mentor who will help you get through those things, and someone who you can always ask questions, is very crucial, not just in software engineering, but in any part of life. If you want to move up, you got to find someone who's willing to help you. Typically they come from coworkers or managers. You really just got to keep your eyes open and just try to provide as much value as you can to everyone without looking like you're just trying to take everyone's value and run. Next tip is just try to learn how to learn. You got to really learn how to learn fast. And I know it's easier said than done, but you really have to start to recognize what the best ways for you to learn are. Is it building projects? Is it doing courses? Is it reading books? Is it going through documentation? The sooner you find out your best way of learning, the faster you will progress and the faster you will get to the next level. So I hope this video helped you out. If you have any questions, please let me know down in the comments below. Subscribe, like this video, share it to all your friends who want to get into the tech industry who may not have a degree. Until next time, see you later.